Deep beneath the surface of America, in dark, mysterious caves, people have discovered some of the strangest things imaginable. Some are chilling, others are just plain weird, and a few will make you question reality itself. From ancient artifacts to unexpected creatures, let's explore 101 of the most bizarre things ever found in U.S. caves. 1. A skeleton in cowboy boots was found in a Texas cave. No one knows exactly how he got there, but the boots were still intact, almost like he just walked in and never walked out. The bones suggested he had been there for decades, yet no record of a missing cowboy matched the discovery. It's almost as if he rode straight out of the Wild West and into oblivion. 2. A 2,000-year-old Native American sandal was found in an Ozarks cave, perfectly preserved. Imagine making a shoe so durable that it outlives multiple civilizations. The fibers were so well preserved that scientists could still see the intricate weaving patterns, a glimpse into the craftsmanship of an ancient people. It makes modern sneakers look flimsy in comparison. 3. In a Colorado cave, explorers stumbled upon an old wooden chest carved with star patterns, locked tight. When they pried it open, it held nothing but dust. Local tales whisper it belonged to a miner chasing a legendary treasure, one he never lived to claim. Who left it, and what was he hiding? 4. Deep in Lovelock Cave, Nevada, explorers found what legends call giant red-haired mummies, towering figures from a wild tale of an ancient race that clashed with native tribes. The skeletons were unusually tall, some over 7 feet, with oversized skulls that defy easy explanation. Are these the bones of real giants, or just a story stretched bigger than life? Archaeologists scratch their heads, debating if it's myth, mismeasurement, or something stranger buried in the past. 5. Gold bars worth millions were found stashed in a cave in New Mexico. And yet, no one knows who put them there or why. Some believe it was the hidden treasure of Spanish conquistadors. Others think outlaws used the cave as a secret vault. A few even suspect it was a stash from the infamous Jesse James. The only certainty? Whoever buried that fortune never came back for it. 6. In a Missouri cave, explorers stumbled upon an old steam-powered drill, abandoned deep underground. Covered in rust, it looked like something from the 1800s, but no mining records mention it. How did it get there with no entrance wide enough to drag it in? Some say it was left by a mad inventor. Others think it just sank through the earth and time forgot it. 7. In a Kentucky cave, cavers found a pool of water that bubbles without heat or visible gas. Deep underground, where no air should stir, the surface ripples as if something's breathing beneath it. Scientists call it a geological quirk, but locals swear they've seen shadows move under the waves, shadows with no source. 8. A cave in Tennessee revealed thousands of prehistoric animal bones, including saber-toothed cats, mammoths, and even giant ground sloths. These creatures once roamed North America but disappeared thousands of years ago. The bones were so well preserved that scientists could see bite marks. Evidence that even back then, nature was just as brutal. 9. In a Missouri cave, researchers discovered the fully intact skeleton of an Ice Age bear. What's eerie? It was found lying in a sleeping position, as if it had simply gone to sleep and never woke up. Even stranger, deep claw marks were found nearby, suggesting that something else might have been there when it died. 10. Deep in Mammoth Cave, Kentucky, explorers uncovered a stash of ancient clay tablets etched with spiral designs. These weren't just doodles, they were maps, maybe of the cave itself, drawn 4,000 years ago. Whoever scratched them into existence knew this labyrinth like the back of their hand, but their purpose? Lost to the ages. 11. A mysterious wall of stacked stones was found inside a deep Missouri cave. Who built it? No one knows. But whoever they were serious about their privacy. The wall had no openings, no reason to exist, and no tools or remains nearby. Some say it was meant to keep something out, or maybe something in. 12. A New Mexico cave hid a chilling pile of bat wings, thousands of them, stacked neatly as if arranged by human hands. No skeletons, just the wings, brittle and eerily preserved. Locals whisper of an ancient ritual, but no tools or clues were found nearby. Was this the work of a forgotten tribe or something far less human? 13. In a Pennsylvania cave, explorers found a jagged stone altar slick with dark stains that won't wash off. No tools or bones nearby, just this slab, cold and heavy like it was waiting for something. Locals say it's cursed. Others guess it's from a ritual so old even the earth forgot who bled there. 14. In a deep Utah cave, explorers found a massive stockpile of ancient corn, perfectly preserved for over 1,000 years. It's like a prehistoric Costco, minus the free samples. The kernels were still intact, suggesting that whoever stored them intended to return, but never did. 15. Deep in an Idaho cave, researchers uncovered massive bones thought to be from a mammoth, until the joints didn't match any known species. Too big, too strange. They hint at a colossal herbivore lost to time. Was this a forgotten giant that once roamed the prehistoric plains? 16. Some U.S. caves are home to blind fish, species that evolved without eyes because, well, when you live in pitch darkness, why bother? These fish rely on heightened senses of touch and smell to navigate, proving that nature doesn't need vision to survive. In fact, their skin is so sensitive, they can feel the water around them, detecting movement from far away. 17. In an Oregon cave, explorers discovered a mysterious wooden mask with exaggerated, almost alien-like features. The craftsmanship was unlike anything ever found in the region, and its purpose remains unknown. Some believe it was a ceremonial artifact, while others speculate it represented something or someone not of this world. 18. A cave in California had hundreds of ancient handprints on its walls. Some looked normal, but others had extra fingers or bizarrely elongated shapes. Paranormal explanation, genetic mutation. We'll let you decide. The markings are so distinct that some believe they belonged to an unknown group of early humans, ones with anatomical differences that have never been seen elsewhere. 19. In a Tennessee cave, someone unearthed a fossilized nest of eggs, each one the size of a football. Whatever laid them was no bird. The shells had strange ridges, hinting at a reptile lost to time. Imagine those things hatching in the dark, their claws scraping stone as they broke free. 20. A hidden underground river in a Texas cave contains species of fish and crustaceans never documented before. It's like an alien world, but right beneath our feet. The water was so deep and uncharted that even seasoned divers refused to go too far, fearing what else might lurk in the depths. 21. In an abandoned mine shaft turned cave in Utah, explorers found a wall plastered with faded wanted posters from the 1870s. Outlaws, bandits, names no one remembers. But why stick them underground? Some were scratched out with a knife, others marked with X's. A bounty hunter's lair? Or a graveyard for the hunted? 22. A cavern in South Dakota contained massive quartz crystals, some taller than a person. It looked like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. The walls shimmered, reflecting light in eerie, almost hypnotic patterns. Scientists say the crystals took millions of years to form, growing at an almost imperceptible pace, like a frozen river of glass. 23. In a Wyoming cave, explorers discovered a thin copper plate engraved with strange lines and symbols. Some researchers believe it may have been an ancient astronomical calendar, but it doesn't match any known star maps. Could it be a forgotten method of tracking time, one that we have yet to understand? 24. Cave explorers in Alabama stumbled on a pile of rusted Civil War bayonets stacked like firewood. No bodies, no battle nearby, just these blades, sharp even after 150 years. Were they hidden by retreating soldiers or stashed for a fight that never came? The silence of the cave holds the answer. 25. In a Florida cave system, divers found dozens of old Spanish coins, possibly from a lost shipwreck or hidden treasure. The bad news? The cave was infested with eels, and not the friendly kind. Some of the coins dated back to the 1600s, meaning they could have belonged to a long-lost pirate stash. Imagine swimming through that darkness, feeling something slither past your leg, only to emerge clutching a handful of gold. 26. In a deep Montana cave, explorers found the mummified remains of a dog. The incredible part? It had been there for over 50 years, perfectly preserved by the dry air. The dog had likely chased something into the cave and never found its way out. Even creepier, locals reported hearing faint barking sounds near the cave entrance before the discovery was made. 27. In a New York cave, cavers found a fossilized imprint of an insect wing the size of a human hand. Perfectly preserved, it suggests giant bugs once buzzed through ancient skies. Imagine stumbling across that in the dark. Proof of a world where insects ruled. 28. A bizarre humanoid figure carved into stone turned up in a Pennsylvania cave. Tall, thin, with long fingers and huge eyes that don't fit any native art style we know. Symbols swirl around it, defying translation, like a silent scream from the rock. Was it the work of an unknown artist with a wild imagination, a forgotten tribe's masterpiece, or just a trick of shadows? Whatever it is, it's too striking to ignore. 29. In a cave beneath the Rocky Mountains, researchers found bones that had been deliberately sharpened into weapons. These weren't crude tools. They were finely crafted, almost surgical in their precision. But they were thousands of years old, and no known civilization in the area had that level of craftsmanship. 30. A cave in Missouri contained a chamber filled with perfectly preserved human skulls. There were no bodies, no artifacts, just the skulls. Some had strange holes in them, as if something had been drilled through with extreme precision. Scientists believe it might have been an ancient ritual site, but the lack of any other remains makes it one of the most unsettling finds ever recorded. 31. In a Texas cave, explorers uncovered a tunnel lined with tiny crystals that shimmer like an underground galaxy. The walls sparkle faintly, casting star-like reflections with no clear source. It's as if nature painted its own night sky deep below the earth. 32. A hidden chamber in an Oregon cave contained a massive pile of burned bones. These weren't just animal bones, they were human remains. Some dated back over 1,000 years, leading experts to believe this was an ancient burial or sacrifice site. But the lack of tools or ceremonial objects makes the purpose a terrifying mystery. 33. A North Carolina cave revealed a wall covered in tiny claw-like scratches. At first, researchers thought they were made by animals, but the pattern was too deliberate, almost like writing. Some believe it could have been early humans trying to leave messages, but others aren't so sure. 34. A cave in Alaska led to an underground river filled with translucent, ghostly fish. Their skin was nearly transparent, making them look like swimming spirits. Because no sunlight reaches these waters, the fish evolved without pigment, giving them an eerie, almost alien appearance. 35. In a deep California cavern, divers found an old wooden ladder leading into total darkness. The ladder was at least 100 years old, but no records mention anything being built there. What's worse, no one knows where it leads because the passage beneath it was completely flooded. 36. An explorer in a Texas cave found an old, rusted revolver wedged between some rocks. It was a late 1800s Colt, the kind used in the Wild West. The gun had 6 bullets in the chamber but never fired. Was it lost in a scuffle, a hurried escape, or was it left there for a reason? 37. In a Kentucky cave, researchers stumbled upon a massive, nearly perfect spherical stone. Geologists claim it could have formed naturally over millions of years, but local legends say it's the egg of a stone dragon that never hatched. 38. A tunnel beneath the Appalachian Mountains was found completely lined with iron spikes. No one knows why they're there, but they look like they were placed deliberately. Some believe it was a trap, while others think it could have been a desperate attempt to keep something from getting out. 39. A hidden cavern in Arizona contained a strange black liquid dripping from the ceiling. Tests showed it wasn't oil or any known mineral deposit. Even stranger, it was slightly magnetic. Scientists are still trying to determine its origin. 40. A secret cave beneath Yellowstone hid traces of something ancient. Petroglyphs with spirals, tools chipped from odd stone, a circle of rocks that puzzles everyone. Experts wonder if it's an undiscovered culture's footprint, a whisper of people lost to history. The site's tucked away now, off limits, fueling whispers of a cover-up, or maybe just a hunch too fragile to prove. What do you think they're hiding down there? 41. A cave in Minnesota held an unusual burial. A man was found sitting upright, holding a stone tablet with mysterious carvings. The carvings didn't match any known language, and the skeleton was over 2,000 years old. Was he a lost traveler, a forgotten leader, or someone who knew a secret we never will? 42. In an abandoned Pennsylvania mine, explorers found a series of tunnels that didn't match any mining records. They were too smooth, too deliberate, and seemed to curve in unnatural ways. It was almost as if they weren't made for human use at all. 43. In a Washington cave, cavers found a petrified claw embedded in the ceiling, dangling like a chandelier. It's too curved for a bear, too massive for a cougar. Maybe a predator from the Ice Age nobody's named? Picture it lunging from the shadows, talons gleaming before the rock swallowed it whole. 44. In a Georgia cave, someone dug up a petrified jawbone with teeth like a shark's, but twice the size of any fish on record. Razor sharp and massive, it hints at a watery predator from a forgotten age. What kind of monster swam through ancient depths? 45. In a Michigan cave, explorers found an old glass bottle tucked in a crevice, a faded note inside. The ink had blurred into illegibility, except for one chilling word: help. Who scribbled it? And what desperate story dissolved into the damp darkness? 46. In a remote West Virginia cave, explorers found a wooden chest buried in the ground, but when they tried to open it, it crumbled to dust. Inside were only a few rusted metal objects and fragments of paper with illegible writing. Some believe it was a lost stash from Civil War soldiers, while others suspect it was something even older. The real question: who buried it? And what message was lost forever? 47. A cave deep in the Ozarks contained an ancient staircase carved directly into the rock, leading nowhere. The steps were smoothed by time, but their purpose remained unclear. The passage above them had long since collapsed, leaving only the eerie feeling that they once led to something important. Perhaps even another hidden chamber that has yet to be uncovered. 48. In an Arkansas cave, a skeleton turned up with an unnaturally long neck, possibly a rare mutation from ages past. It lay beside a stone knife, as if part of some eerie ritual. Was this a sacrifice, a burial, or something stranger sealed underground? 49. A deep, flooded cavern in Florida contained a massive bronze bell with no markings. It was too large and heavy to have been carried in by hand, and no local history mentioned anything about a lost church bell. How it ended up in the dark depths of an underground lake is anyone's guess. 50. In a California cave, explorers discovered a thick layer of undisturbed dust, except for one unsettling detail. A single set of footprints led straight to a narrow crack in the wall, but there were no prints leading back out. 51. A cave in South Dakota held a massive pile of polished animal bones, all stripped completely clean. The bones were arranged in neat rows, as if placed there intentionally. Whatever had done this wasn't just hunting, it was collecting. 52. In a New Mexico cavern, explorers found an old notebook wrapped in oilcloth, completely dry despite being in a damp environment. The pages contained strange symbols, maps of unknown places, and what looked like a cipher no one has been able to decode. The last page? Completely blank, except for a single word: run. 53. In a deep Kentucky cave, researchers found a fully intact canoe buried under layers of sediment. It was carved from a single tree trunk and estimated to be over 3,000 years old. The strangest part? There was no evidence of a waterway nearby, meaning it had been deliberately placed there, possibly for a ritual or something else. 54. A cave in the Arizona desert revealed what appeared to be a hidden doorway, but it led only to a solid rock wall. The doorway was carved with precision, but there was no way through. Was it an entrance that had been sealed over time, or was it never meant to be opened? 55. In a Missouri cave, a small stone statue was found buried under centuries of rockfall. It depicted a humanoid figure with large eyes and no mouth. No known tribe in the area had ever made carvings like it, and tests showed it was far older than any civilization in the region. Who made it, and why? 56. In a California cave, explorers uncovered a pile of seashells, hundreds of them, miles from any ocean. Polished smooth, they glowed faintly under flashlight beams, like pearls from a forgotten tide. Did ancient waters flood this deep, or did someone carry them in, dreaming of a sea they'd never see again? 57. In a Washington cave, someone found a leather pouch stuffed with arrowheads, each one stained red-brown. They're older than any tribe in the area, sharper than stone should be, and oddly warm to the touch. A hunter's lost trove? Or tools for a war fought in the dark? 58. A strange humming sound was recorded in a deep Alabama cave. It had no clear source and seemed to change pitch as people moved closer to it. Scientists said it was an auditory illusion, but those who heard it described feeling an overwhelming sense of unease, like they were being watched. 59. In a remote Montana cave, a petrified wooden staff was found embedded in the rock. The wood was ancient yet perfectly preserved. It appeared to have symbols carved into it, but erosion had wiped most of them away. Some believe it was a shaman's staff. Others think it might have belonged to something far older. 60. In an Illinois cave, explorers found stalactites twisted into wild, branching shapes like petrified coral from some ancient sea. They spiral across the ceiling in defiance of normal geology, as if the cave once held a current strong enough to sculpt them. Nature turned this darkness into its own surreal masterpiece. 61. A deep cavern in Texas contained an iron door, rusted shut. No record existed of anyone placing it there, and it was far beyond where normal mining would have reached. Who built it, and what's behind it? No one has dared to break it open. 62. A perfectly preserved rope ladder was found in an Alaskan cave, hanging over a deep pit. The wood was ancient, yet the rope was strangely intact. Whatever it had led to, it was far below, too deep for anyone to see. 63. In a Tennessee cave, researchers found an underground lake so dark that even powerful flashlights couldn't penetrate its depths. The water wasn't just black. It seemed to absorb light entirely, making it impossible to see what lay beneath the surface. Local legends whisper that it's the eye of the earth staring back. 64. In a South Carolina cave, explorers discovered a rock formation that resembled a massive face. It was natural, but eerily human-like. Some say it was a trick of the light. Others believe it was a message left by ancient hands. 65. A Nevada cave held an old chest covered in chains and locks. It was rusted shut, impossible to open. When it was finally forced open, it was empty. But the question remains, what was so important that someone had gone to such lengths to seal it away? 66. A limestone cavern in Virginia contained a deep well filled with animal skulls, each one with its horns or antlers removed. The precision was unsettling, almost ritualistic. No tools were found nearby, meaning the work was done by hand. But why? 67. In a Maine cave, researchers found stones that whistle faintly when air rushes past. A soft, haunting sound with no clear cause. Experts call it natural resonance, but those who've heard it swear it feels alive, like the cave itself is breathing. 68. A cave in Wyoming had a perfectly circular hole in the ceiling, carved as if by a drill. It led straight up to the surface, but there was no sign of any natural process that could have created it. The edges were too smooth, too deliberate. 69. A deep cavern in Arizona contained a strange pedestal-like rock formation, exactly centered in the room, perfectly level. Tests showed it had naturally formed over thousands of years, but the symmetry was uncanny, almost like it had been placed there on purpose. 70. In a Colorado cave, explorers found a wooden mask with exaggerated, almost alien-like features. The craftsmanship was unlike anything ever found in the region, and its purpose was unknown. Some believe it was ceremonial, others claim it was meant to represent something else. 71. A flooded cave in Louisiana contained a submerged statue of a woman holding a child. It wasn't placed there by the church, and no local records mention it. Who put it there? And why was it hidden underwater? 72. In a Kentucky cave, explorers found a door frame carved into the rock, but no door. It was the right size, shaped like an entrance, but it led only to a blank wall. Was it a symbolic passage? A marker? Or was there once a real door leading to something long buried? 73. A cave in California contained a series of paintings showing a giant, bird-like creature devouring humans. The art was thousands of years old, yet eerily detailed. Was it just myth? Or was it based on something real? 74. In a deep, remote New Mexico cave, explorers found a tunnel that led straight to a perfectly square chamber. No natural cave formations are that precise, leading to speculation that someone, or something, had carved it long ago. The room was completely empty, except for a single symbol etched into the wall, a spiral looping inward into darkness. 75. A flooded cave system in Texas contained a chain hanging from the ceiling, disappearing into the water below. No one knew where it led, but when divers followed it down, they found that it simply ended. No anchor, no sign of what it had once been attached to. Just a rusted chain, dangling into the abyss. 76. In a South Dakota cave, someone uncovered a gold ring buried under dirt, engraved with a rune-like symbol from a lost age. It glinted faintly in the gloom, a relic of someone or something long gone. Did it slip off a finger centuries ago, or was it hidden on purpose? 77. A cavern in the Appalachian Mountains contained a massive stone slab, perfectly smooth and reflective like a giant mirror. Geologists say it was polished naturally by water over centuries, but the way it reflected light was almost unnatural. Some who saw their reflections in it reported feeling uneasy, as if the image looking back wasn't quite their own. 78. A cave in North Dakota revealed a tunnel leading straight down, too narrow for a human to fit. When researchers dropped a camera inside, the tunnel went deeper than expected, much deeper. But just as they reached the limits of their equipment, they heard a scraping sound, and the camera feed cut to black. 79. In a Missouri cave, explorers discovered a rusted music box, half buried in the dirt. Wind it up, and it plays a tune no one recognizes. Slow, haunting, like a lullaby from another century. Who left it there, and why does it still work after decades in the damp? It's as if the cave keeps it alive. 80. In an uncharted cavern beneath the Grand Canyon, researchers found fossilized human footprints next to those of an unknown animal. The tracks were side by side, as if the two had been walking together. But the creature's prints were massive, larger than a bear's, and with an odd reptilian shape. 81. A Louisiana cave revealed a room filled with perfectly round stones, each the size of a bowling ball. There was no natural reason for them to be there, no known process that could have formed them. It was as if someone had placed them there long ago, for a purpose now lost to time. 82. In a Wyoming cave, explorers discovered a deep pool of water so crystal clear it mirrored the cavern like a perfect, endless void. Even when they tossed in rocks, the reflections barely wavered, as if the liquid was too thick to disturb. It sat there, still and silent, hiding whatever secrets lay beneath its glassy surface. 83. Deep in the Sierra Nevada mountains, cavers found an ancient spear tip embedded in the ribcage of a massive, long-extinct bison. The weapon was thousands of years old, proof of a battle between prehistoric humans and the giants of the Ice Age. The shocking part? The spearhead was still razor-sharp, as if it had just been made. 84. A cavern beneath Colorado contained an underground lake where the water glowed faintly blue. No known bioluminescent organisms were present, and scientists couldn't determine what was causing the eerie glow. The effect was hypnotic, like staring into another dimension. 85. A cave in the Everglades held the remains of an enormous alligator, twice the size of any recorded species. The skeleton suggested it had lived long after such creatures were thought to have gone extinct. Some believe there may still be more lurking deep in the swamps, hidden where no one dares to go. 86. In a Texas cave, an old leather-bound book was discovered, its pages written in an unknown language. The cover had no title, and the ink had faded to a ghostly gray. No one could decipher its contents, though some believe it contained a lost history of a forgotten civilization. 87. A cavern in Montana held a pile of ancient buffalo skulls all facing the same direction. Some believe it was a spiritual site, a place where early tribes honored their kills. But others found it unsettling, especially because the skulls had been arranged so precisely, as if staring at something that wasn't there. 88. A cave in Virginia had a tunnel that led straight into a sheer drop-off, too deep to see the bottom. Explorers attempted to measure it but never found the end. No matter how far they lowered their ropes, the pit just kept going. To this day, no one knows how deep it really is. 89. In a Hawaiian cave, explorers found lava tubes lined with vivid red moss thriving in total darkness. No sunlight, no nutrients, yet it grows, a crimson mystery clinging to life. How does it survive where nothing else can? 90. In a Midwestern cave, archaeologists uncovered ancient petroglyphs depicting birds with long wings and pointed noses. While historians believe they're stylized birds, others note their uncanny resemblance to modern airplanes. Could ancient people have envisioned flying machines long before their time? Or is it just our modern minds, seeing patterns where none exist? 91. In a deep Georgia cave, researchers found a massive claw, too large to belong to any known animal. The bone structure suggested it had once belonged to a predator, one that had gone extinct long ago. Or had it? 92. A cavern in the Rocky Mountains held a hidden chamber filled with human bones, each one marked with deep cuts. Whether they were from a battle, a ritual, or something worse, no one knows. But the markings were consistent, deliberate, like someone had wanted to leave a message. 93. A cave in Nevada revealed a massive petrified tree growing completely sideways out of the rock wall. Somehow, it had survived the passage of time, even though there was no soil, no nutrients. It was as if it had grown there against all odds, ignoring the laws of nature. 94. In a Kansas cave, researchers unearthed a skull with unusual bony protrusions on its forehead. While some speculate it was just a rare genetic mutation, others wonder if it could belong to a species we have yet to identify. 95. A cave in Arizona held a door-shaped indentation in the wall with strange symbols carved around it. The markings didn't match any known Native American script, and they glowed faintly under ultraviolet light. Whatever it once led to, the entrance had been sealed, permanently. 96. A cavern in California contained an old wooden rocking chair sitting in the middle of an empty room. There was no explanation for how it got there, or why it was positioned so perfectly. The unsettling part? When explorers returned a week later, the chair was facing the other direction. 97. A deep tunnel system in Tennessee revealed human remains that appeared to be much older than they should have been. DNA tests showed they were over 10,000 years old, far earlier than most people were thought to have lived in North America. Did an unknown group settle there long before recorded history? 98. A cavern in the Black Hills contained a set of stone tablets covered in an unknown script. The writing didn't match any indigenous languages nor any ancient alphabets from known civilizations. Some believe they were left behind by a lost people, or something even more mysterious. 99. An underground lake in a remote Kentucky cave contained an island of bones. No predators lived in the cave, yet animal remains covered the rocky surface, some stripped completely clean. Whatever had been dragging bodies to that spot wasn't there anymore. Or at least, it hadn't shown itself yet. 100. A hidden chamber in an Appalachian cave contained a massive rusted iron door, bolted shut from the outside. No records exist of anyone ever building it. The strangest part? When explorers knocked, the sound echoed back, not from the cave, but from whatever was on the other side. 101. In a Montana cave, cavers found an underground lake with a perfectly round island at its center, a single smooth stone atop it carved with a cross. Untouched for centuries, it sits in silent stillness. Was it a marker, a grave, or a message from the deep past? Which of these cave discoveries creeped you out the most? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more mind-blowing facts. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, and maybe stay out of the caves.